Rav Chaim Kanievsky, he once, one person wanted to learn with him. Havrata is one of the havratas that he has. Of course, he wanted to learn with him. He said, "Listen, I don't mind, but you should know anybody who's going to be my havrata, they know in advance. There's no missing. Meaning, if we have an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours that we're going to learn, you can never ever miss those hours. So, if you want to be my chavruta, no problem. If you want to learn together, I'll be your chavruta, no problem. However, you have to commit that you will never miss on the hours that we learn." That's what Rav Chaim Kanievsky told this person. So, the person went ahead. This is a true story, by the way. Rav Chaim Kanievsky said over the story. So, he said, let me think about it for a second. He's thinking. Could he do it? Could he commit? He said, okay, I could commit, but there's only one problem that I have. What's the problem? He says, every winter, when the season changes from summer to the winter season, he says, I always get a cold. For the past many, many years, every single year, it changes, the climate changes to the cold weather. I always get sick in bed, and I got to recuperate. It takes like a few days to recuperate, and then I come back. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky told him, he said, listen, if you're going to accept upon yourself, kavata itim la torah, that you koivea itim la torah, that you're going to make it, Bezrat Hashem, it won't happen. The climate won't make a change. Why? Of course, we know Torah is above nature, and therefore when a person goes above nature, the Torah protects you from anything that you could imagine. Anything that you could imagine. So you end up saying, he thought about it, he says, okay, if that's what Chaim Kanievsky is saying, everybody would do, no problem, no problem. He says, if that's the case, I could commit every single day at that time, at that hours, no problem. Even in the winter, I'll do it. Okay, guess what? That winter, he did not get sick once. Okay, they continue learning. And they're going at it days and days, months and months, years. So long, they're going together, learning, the same exact time, the same exact hours, every single day. Any case, one year, this Havruta of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, he had, there was a special event that was going on, and he said, it's such an important point, it's so important. He was debating this, that, back and forth. He says, so many years, I learned, big deal, like one time, one time, let me squeeze it in, let me see if he ended up going and missing that day. He says that was the year where at that winter, he got sick for a few days and he couldn't get out of the bed. He says, what's the pshat? He says the pshat was, up until now, you had a koveya itim la Torah. You had a protection. You had a situation where from a Kadosh Baruch Hu's perspective in Shamayim, they're protecting you like crazy to the most exact, minute problems that you could ever imagine. They were taken care of. Why? Because you accepted upon yourself the yoke of Torah. You accepted upon yourself that this is what you're doing forever. You will koveya itim la Torah. Koveya itim la Torah means a strong commitment to Torah that you don't budge. You see a wall, right? Because you imagine you see a wall, thick wall, a heavy-duty wall, right? Could you walk inside the wall? You can't. It's impossible. If you accept the Torah, like it's a wall, I can't budge this time. It's like a block. This is the time I always learn. I can't move. Why? There's a big Josh wall, huge wall, the size of who knows what. It's a brick wall. I can't pass. Same thing. You set a time to learn Torah. Then what? Then it's like I can't break this time. This is it. And you'll see siyata d'shmaya. Everything will work around. You still leave your voice, please? Everything will work around everything of your desires. I'll tell you a personal story by me. And it's a true story. I had a chavruta, or myself. Second Seder, I'm learning. I have to learn. I had to put some checks. I had to deposit some checks in the bank and things like that. And it had to be done today. It had to be, whatever the reason was, I remember it had to be done that day. And as I'm going second Seder, and I'm not missing, I got to make it, I'm always there. As I'm going, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to miss. That second, one of my friends came by, dropped something over to my house, and said, oh, by the way, I don't know why he was even saying that. Oh, by the way, I'm going towards the bank. If you need me to drop over, it's like, I'm looking at him, what? Are you serious? I gave him the checks, a stack of checks. I need to put this in the bank. I gave him my account number, this, that, just deposited this, that. I'm telling you, it was so many shamayim that you couldn't imagine. That time I needed HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves. You hear what's going on? So this is the story. Chaim is guaranteeing. It's not even that. It's the Torah itself. Kol mekabel all Torah. Anybody who accepts upon himself the yoke of Torah, ma'aviran alav, all derech eretz, but all malchut. That's what it says. What does it mean, all derech eretz, all malchut? You don't understand. The nature of the Torah is so strong. The nature is so strong, it's natural, that things in your life will automatically move because it'll be set place, your Torah, because you said it. But what? We have to be firm. This is when I learn, nothing stops in the way. Nothing stops in the way. Pikuah nefesh, life and death. Okay, life and death, we understand. If it's not life and death, that's it. How many times you have the guy, oh Rabbi, I'm worried, what do I have? I have an engagement party, I have this party, I have that party, and you go and they didn't even start until 2 hours later. What? You know what I'm trying to say? Unless it's an emergency. Otherwise, Torah in my life, I have a set time and I learn that point. Chaim Kanievsky writes a story over there. He says that he himself, he had a set time, always learning a certain amount of whatever he learns. And he said that was the Chazon Ish passed away many years ago, and he was at the levaya, at the funeral, at the everything like that, and he was wiped, he was dead tired through everything that was going on. He said, but he had a set time to learn, so he came back, he was dead tired, like wiped. He said, even if he would have opened up the Gemara, it would have been so hard for him just to even. He said, I have a set time, I'm going to do as much as I can. He sat there and that's what it is. Because when you do that, you see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes miracles for you, because it's not miracles, because that's the Metziut. That becomes nature. What becomes it? I always tell you the story, what happened in Mikdash Melech when I was there. My year. I told my Havruta. I told him, Mayor. He says, what? He says, where are you going? It was 11:30. I remember 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. I said, Mayor, where are you going? And we finished Seder at 1. He says to me, we're going to stamp our passports. You know, the law of Israel is every 3 months, right? You have to stamp your passports if you're in the country. So what happened was, they got a whole group together and they wanted to go in one shot. I said, what do you mean? Now you're going during the time of learning? You're learning with me? I'm saying, I'm not going to stop them, but you're learning with me. I need a chavruta. You can't do that. We're learning together. Finished. So he tells me, no, you're not understanding this, that. I was like, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to get a fine. I was like, how much is the fine? $120. I said, no problem. Make a contract right now. I'm going to pay the $120 if you get a ticket. If you don't get a ticket, a fine is that, I gave. No. But okay, fine. He says, yeah, no problem. You're going to pass? Yeah, I'm going to pay $120. But it's peanuts compared to the Gan Eden for the extra hours of learning that we're going to have together. Yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So I said, okay, but no problem. But we're going to write a shtar. I got 2 Edim. Rabbi Wolf was there. Rabbi Wolf was one of the Rebbeim in Mikdash. He was one of the signatures on the shtar that I'm going to get his Gan Eden for that hour and a half. It's going to transfer over to me because I'm paying. He was ready to go. I said, look, I'm saving you money for the cab. I'm saving you a $1 back and forth to go back and forth. I'm saving everything. You know, and we're learning together. What's the problem? You need the AC. You don't have to go outside in the heat. You know, it's summertime. It's like, no problem. He's like, no problem. I got 1 signature. After that, the second signature, I'm getting the 2 Edim, you know, 2 witnesses. I'm doing it legit. I'm doing it straight, you know. All of a sudden, he says, oh, one second. He says, you know what, this is getting too crazy for me. You know what? You don't pay for the fine. Don't do anything. Just give me back was no deal. I'll just sit here and learn. He got scared. He's like, I'll just sit here and learn. I'll just sit here and learn. He sat there. He learned. The rest of the Seder. Okay. P.S. Listen to the end of the story. 1 o'clock comes. 1 o'clock is lunch now. You had maybe the group that went came back. I said, so how was it? He says, you don't understand. When we got to the embassy or thing, whatever it was, we were getting it stamped, everything like that. He says, they said we got to come back Friday this time, and that's the time where we didn't have Seder, we didn't have the limud. It was after the learning of Friday, like Friday afternoon. You got to go quick in and out. It's like, wow, yishtabah boreh. A guy wants to take away Torah. You have a Seder. You can do it after. You can do it on a Friday. You can do it this. You can do it. You can have other times where you could do other. And that's what it is. We learn from these stories that when a person's kovei aitim the Torah, this is my set thing. This is what I have to do. Bezrat Hashem, with that, you'll see in your lifetime how everything will work out. Because Torah, we understand. Torah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, the whole world stands on the Torah, Kedusha of learning. Rabbi Mari Mastin Zatzal, he used to say, two guys were learning. He wants them, he says, you're learning Torah, you know what you're doing? He says, what am I doing? He says, you are literally holding up the world. Mesechet Pesachim, there's Mesechet Uvin, Mesechet Pesachim, there's a Gemara over there, that one of the Moraim, they were learning Torah so much. In 30 days, he went over the whole Torah. He went before he was leaving the Midrash, and like that, he was patting himself, Chazai Nafshi. He says, what do you mean Chazai? What does Chazai Nafshi mean? Baruch Hashem, for my nefesh, I'm so happy. What? He said, what? He says, Baruch Hashem, that what? That I finished the whole Torah in 30 days. He was reviewing it, of course, he knew it. He said, Baruch Hashem, after he finished, so the Gemara asks a question. What do you mean? That's what you're happy? Be happy that you're holding up the whole world. He says, of course. That also he's happy, but he's happy for both things. The Gemara says it. The Gemara speaks about it. When a person is learning, you are literally holding up the world. The Hazon Ish writes in his Sefer, when a person is working hard into Torah, he says, you're doing a kiruv. How are you doing kiruv? The guy in a different place, the power of the Torah is so strong. All of a sudden, the guy in a different place, he feels his strength and he wants to get close to Hashem. I don't know, I have a feeling I want to do strong today. I want to go full force. I want to be more religious. It says the power of the Torah is so amel, is so effect in the world that it affects another guy, a religious guy, wants to become religious. This is the power of Kovei Aitim Torah.